Alright, good afternoon everyone. Today is December 1st, Thursday, December 1st, 2011. We're going to take our time here and go over a few trade setups that happened this morning. I'm going to do the 4-tick range setups slowly. I just did that slowly so everyone can see what's going on with it. Alright. Now when the market opened up this morning, we had nothing for the first half an hour until right here at 10 o'clock. There was a news event right at 10 o'clock. I had an order waiting here, but I took it off because I didn't want to get caught up in the news event. Alright, so after the news event happened, down here on the chop bands, we had the bubble reset. Now it reset when the red bands went inside the black bands. Just one band going inside the black band would have been good enough, but both bands went inside the black bands and reset. Then they came back out of the black bands, showing that the market was getting extended again, and that it was due for a pullback to some area where it should bounce. Alright. Once you have a bubble, this is what we call a bubble, when the red bands get outside the black bands. Once you have that bubble, then the next pullback to the BBC up here, the BBC is the green line, is the one you're interested in. But the criteria for the bubble has already been met. The next pullback is the next thing you want to look for. Alright, as price puts in a new high swing pivot right here, higher than the last one, then it's set up for you to be able to take the trade off of the BBC. This morning I was a little late getting into the trade. I actually entered it when it was over here instead of right here. I didn't have my order waiting right here because I was doing something else. Normally I would have my order waiting right there. I got in at the same spot. I got in at 48 and a quarter. You can see right here the BBC is at 48.22, I believe. You round that up to the nearest tick, which would be 48.25. And I saw that that was where I should have gotten in when price was down here, and I did get in there when price came over here. Alright. Just for a little more clarification here, these lines right here, these two lines right there, and this one green line are all part of the triple trend indicator. Alright, I know these lines look just like the MA1 and they're very similar. They're a little faster, while one's faster and one's slower. The MA1 usually falls pretty much right in between them. And the BBC is also part of the triple trend indicator, but I just included it with the triple trend indicator, so you only had to put one indicator on there. Now typically when this happens and you get a higher swing pivot like this and price moves back down to the BBC, once you get your entry here and price closes above these lines, price should not close back down below these lines. Okay, it should not close down below these lines. You can see it came in here, and I don't think it closed below the lines, and then it quickly went right up to our profit target. Once we entered in over here at 48 and a quarter, our profit target from 48 and a quarter was 50 and a quarter, and you can see it went all the way up to 51. Sorry. That's the whole setup over here. Now I know that oftentimes, I didn't show the results yet. I like to do the results right away. You can see we got 24 ticks profit this morning, and we got it right here on this trade. Alright. Oftentimes, when I'm in a trade, I'll bring my DOM up, and I'll put it right on top of everything so you can't see the chop bands or anything like that anymore. I do that because the criteria that we needed this stuff for has already been met. Alright, once you're in the trade, and the trade has been triggered, then you don't really need to look at these anymore. At that point, you just want to pay attention to what's going on with the price. Alright, and manage the trade accordingly. Okay, there. Now that was the first trade. Alright, the second trade, this was a George trade. I'll go over this one quickly, but with this one, nothing down here matters, and the weekly trading zones don't matter. Alright, we got 3 ticks outside the box. It pulled back up to the BBC. We took the short. We got about a point in the trade. I think we got 4 ticks in the trade. We went back to break even, and we ended up getting out at break even. All right, that trade did end up going on to the profit target. When George takes these trades, he doesn't mess with his stops. He just leaves it 2 points, and that's it. So he would have gotten his 2 points out of that. Now, this trade here is just like the first trade, except the opposite direction. All right, you see we had the bubble down here, and the pull back up to the BBC right here. So the short was right there, and we did short right there, and it went within the tick of our profit target right here. Now, I ended up getting out at break even. I had said that once you get on the opposite side of these lines right here, and you head toward your profit target, you shouldn't close on the other side of those lines. In this case, this was almost a second opportunity to enter the trade right here. It dropped down, and it went just about to the profit target. And under normal circumstances, if it would have gone to the profit target, this would have been a second opportunity to enter the trade because we had a lower swing right here. Okay, but as it was just, it came up and it took me out at break even. Then they all went to the profit target. We needed a fresh bubble down here to be able to take any further trades in that direction. All right, down here we started to get a fresh bubble, and I think I had an order on, but we had this little gap right in here. When you have this gap right in here and you can draw a trend line up the bottoms, then the trend is not necessarily confirmed. Jeff, no, I just realized you couldn't have done 2 trades here because you would have needed a fresh bubble for the second one. Alright, now we had a lower swing right here, but we still didn't have the fresh bubble because this bubble here was used on this pullback. You only get 1 pullback per bubble. Alright, over here on the opposite side, this was a George trade right in here. I didn't take it, but it would have been an entry right in here. This was during, well, this is actually right now during the live market. This would have been a George trade right here. I did not take. That was it on the 4 tick range. All right, now let me jump over here to the. This is a 2100 tick chart, and this trade setup that I'm going to go over here is actually one that one of the partners had shared with everyone in one of the partners meetings, which we have tonight, by the way. So anybody that's on the fence right now that's in the trial, send me an email at tech, that's TECH at CFRN.net, and we'll see what we can do to get into the partners meeting tonight. What we look for here is bullish cross here, and for the cycle to be above 50. The pullback to the BBC after that is what you're looking for. As long as you're getting higher pivots, you can keep taking the trades. All right, until the cycle is going against you, like it ended up doing over here. All right, so there were a couple of opportunities there for a couple of points. We actually did take this trade right here. We got in at 47.75, and as the trade developed, a few things happened. We shorted here at 47.75. It went down within a tick of our profit target. We ended up taking the break even, or plus 1 tick, I think, is what we got on that one. And the thing ended up going way down. Dwayne took more out of this than I did, I think. Because I got 1 tick. I think he actually traded it twice. He got 1 tick once, and then he entered again at 46.5 and shorted farther down. And I was saying at the time that my original target for it would have been 43.5, which we hit right over here, and that was based purely on price action. But then we had a pierce of the envelope on the 10K, and the pierce of the envelope on the 10K suggested it was going to move down to 39.40. We happened to have down here at 38.39 last week's weekly trading zone. So the price did move down. It did what the 10K had suggested it was going to do and move 5 to 6 points. And it went right down to the weekly trading zone, and it's bouncing off of that right now. Okay. The way that the 10K chart works, or the 10K setup works, is very similar to the 2100 tick. You look for, hang on, I'm waiting for it to load here. We're still on 2100 ticks. It's loading up my 10K chart. But you look for a bearish cross or a bullish cross, and then you look for the first pullback to the BBC. Alright, like right here. Would have been a possible entry had we not had resistance right up above us. Over here this morning, right here would have been a possible short entry had we not had support right below us. But that's the way the 10K chart works. Now the YM chart is very similar to that. I didn't take any trades on the YM this morning. The one trade that I had looked at in here, I didn't end up taking it. And then there was this right here. I didn't end up taking that. It didn't pull back all the way to the BBC. The next one that did pull back all the way to the BBC was right on the news event. I didn't take that. We had a bearish cross here with a pullback up right here. I did have an order on for this one. It was up here, but I was actually trading the ES at the time, and I had forgotten about the order. Once I saw that I had forgotten about it, I just took the order off, and I looked to take a divergence trade over here. As it was, it didn't set up for the full divergence trade. You see there's divergence down here on this indicator. It didn't set up for that, so I didn't take that trade. Dwayne did take a trade here. He sold on the stop at 988, 11,988 he sold here. That's why I put these arrows on. He sold on a stop at 988. It gave 9 or 10 points profit. He moved his stop up to plus a tick. It came up, took him out at plus a tick, and then it dropped another 20 points. Excuse me. And that was that. All right. We had a bullish cross right here. This is during the break period. We had a bullish cross right here with a pullback down. Now, the window of opportunity is between the BBC and the MA1. You can see that price went exactly from the BBC to the MA1 and was rejected by the MA1. Right now, we have bullish divergence on the combo indicator. So a close above the MA1 here would give a possible divergence long trade if the close was close enough to the MA1. All right. And that was our morning. So we ended up with plus 24 ticks on the ES this morning. Okay. That's it. We're going to wrap it up here.